Hello, everybody. Welcome to this surprise, kind of unplanned live stream of American Soccer Quick Kicks. I'm your host, David Wright. I'm going to have a guest joining me here very shortly. I do believe the U.S. just finished their match, their friendly against Ecuador, and I wanted to just get on and share my instant thoughts. And I have joining with me I guess it's the first time I've had a guest, I think, since I've started going live stream. So let me just bring John Pyatt on to Quick Kicks. John, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good to be here.
Yeah, I've known John quite a few years. We used to live in the same city. I moved away, and we've kind of reconnected through soccer. We've been to a few games together, a couple of Atlanta matches and one U.S. match. Yeah. And John, we just saw the U.S. play Ecuador to a draw in the friendly tonight. What? First of all, just give me your just kind of quick overall impression of the match, and then we can kind of step through what we thought of the whole night.
Yeah, I think overall they did really good. I think the opponent was a good opponent that we could have, right? So I think that was a good thing that we could hope for in this kind of situation where we're already qualified and everything. And so I think that they came out. I mean, even in the pregame, when I was watching the warm up, you could tell on their face that they had like just a desire to want to win, right? Instead of just go out and play, they seemed like they had a desire to win, and I saw that throughout the whole match, and I thought that was really good.
Good. Yeah, I was nervous at first. It felt like Ecuador dominated the first 15 or 20 minutes for the most part, even though we had our moments. And I was afraid that we were just looking a little too disconnected, a little too unfamiliar with each other. But I could see us get better as the match went on. And I thought in the second half, especially before all the substitutions started being made, that we were looking pretty cohesive. So I think overall, even though we conceded first and we trailed for much of the match, I thought overall there's a lot to be optimistic about and a lot to be excited about with the match. I just wanted to go ahead and run it down. Of course, all eyes were on what the formation was going to be. Was he going to stick with the back three? Was he going to go back to the back four? When we saw the roster drop, the camp. No. Yeah, when we saw the roster for the camp drop, and we saw how there were so many more center backs than fullbacks, we were expecting three backs, and that is exactly what we got. I think they may have officially listed it as a 3-4-3. I didn't really see it that way. I saw it as Morrison Tessman set up right in front of our three backs, which were Reem Richards and Miles Robinson. And so you had the three back system with the double pivot right in front of them, and then four across the middle, which I have somewhere in my notes, but it was Max Arfston and Malik Tillman, Weston McKennie, and then Tim Weah as the four, and then Flo Balogun was playing up top by himself. So that puts Max and Weah in wingback position, where they've got the full corridor up and down the sideline, the touch line, where they are able to drop back into defense when needed, and they can also add width to the attack. And that is, that's what we saw. I meant to say Tuesday when I said that if we play a wingback system, that it gives us more options on the right than just Alex Freeman, and namely that would be Tim Weah. And so that's exactly what happened. We didn't see Freeman until late in the match. What did you see from that formation? Did you? What did you think
I think he's settling into this formation. I really do. It seems to be, and I think in the very beginning they kind of struggled with it, right? And but I think as each match progresses, maybe like today they kind of like I think it was today was the problem with they didn't have continuity amongst the players, right? And so exactly like what you just said, it took them, I would say, probably 20 minutes to kind of settle in, and then they kind of gave up the goal, and then it was like, but they didn't really seem to panic. They just seemed to kind of play through it. But probably about maybe 10 minutes into the second half, I think, somewhere in there, they really started to settle into their formation, and they seem to kind of play well together. As far as the spacing and things like that. I mean, I think later on in the match, like Luna and Pulisic, they seem to be wanting to grab the same space a lot. But other than that, I think they played pretty good as far as the spacing and things like that.
Yeah, I would give Ecuador the first 20 minutes of the match, but
Yeah,
I think we, like you said, we didn't panic. We clawed back in, and by early in the second half, I'd say we were dictating it. We were dominating it. So I think so. First of all, I just want to say this. This is what I found out. This is what I saw early in the match. It was kind of a struggle for dominance. Who's going to control the match? In other words, we were committed to playing out of the back, and they were in a high press. So
yeah,
that always makes playing out of the back pretty stressful. And everybody has to be able to stay calm on the ball and create passing lanes and be able to make very quick decisions and be right with
yeah,
them, because a mistake can be very costly very quickly. And I wondered, as we were losing those first 20 minutes, I was wondering, how long are we going to stick with playing out of the back? Because when you play out of the back, you know, your defenders are way back inside the 18 yards, and which invites the high press, and you don't they can't get that high up if your back line is not dropped back that far. So you invite the high press, and they were taking it, and it's like, how confident are we in being able to play through that? And I was keeping an eye out for, are we going to stick with this? Are we going to end up, playing it long when we restart from the goalkeeper, and just kind of bypass that? So I think we stuck with it. I think we showed that we could do that, and I was encouraged by that, because what I was concerned about and what I was seeing in those first 20 minutes was a team that didn't really know each other. This
yeah,
isn't a group that has played together a lot.
yeah,
Um, this is this is a European dominated lineup in terms of where what clubs are represented. I think I'm seeing, let's see, uh, um, Miles and Ream and Max Arfston. That's it. Not counting the goalkeepers, because all of our goalkeepers play in MLS. But out of the 10 field players, only 3 currently play in MLS. So
yeah.
um, I was wondering about people like Tessman and Morris, and which I feel like they've seen caps before, but I feel like they've always kind of been on the fringe. So I didn't know
Yeah.
what we're going to see. But who was the guy that you think stood out for you, who had the strongest match?
I honestly, I think at the very end it sealed it for me. Right, he had a little bit of a problem when and he's going to give it up. Right, when he gave up the goal, I think he was a little bit out of position, but at the very end of the match, he really stepped it up, and I think overall he had a really good match, and that was the goalie. Right, I think he did a really good job, especially at the very end. Right, when they had that cross that came over,
Yeah,
and he literally, like, he saw it, he read the whole thing, and he just jumped out and he grabbed the ball. And I think I mean, that was a really key match of the key play of the whole match. I think was that one play, because I think that was going to be a sure goal if he hadn't done
yeah.
that.
I made a note of that. That was in the 77th minute. It was a
Yep,
strong cross coming in, and he had to make the decision very early to come off his line and go for
yep.
the ball, and cut that attack out. And it was the right decision, and it was not an easy play. So I agree, that was a standout moment for him, and that very easily could have turned into
And it
a
really
goal.
seems he's starting to lock up the whole goalie situation too. You know.
Well, um, obviously, Potts likes him. Um,
Yeah.
one of the key things to look for going into Tuesday's match is who's going to play goalkeeper on Tuesday.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if Matt Turner does not get the nod, then I think we know. I think we know the answer.
Yeah.
And I hope
It,
he does. I hope he gets a chance, you know.
yeah.
But clearly, Potch. I mean, Freeze is not doing anything to make Potch second guess himself. He's doing
And,
well.
and
Uh,
I think he's getting better though in each match too, though. he's starting to settle in a little bit, and I think that's because I don't know, he's getting more familiar, he's more comfortable, and his instincts are kicking in and things like that. So
And we're not going to forget that he has a particular talent for penalty kicks.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly,
which can be huge in a tournament situation, and
exactly,
would have come into play tonight because we ended in a draw.
yeah,
So if when you can do that, um, that's going to give you a boost there in the coach's eyes. I think. I, I thought Chris Richards had a good game. Um, Again, he was at fault in the one that we conceded, but he also had a couple of different shots on goal. One of them required a
yeah.
fantastic save. And overall, I think he still showed he's our best. He's our best center back. But while we're talking about Richards, before I get to who I thought was the standout player, let's just keep talking about Richards for a second. What did you see on the goal that we gave up?
Well, obviously I don't remember the Ecuadorian guy's name, but whoever scored the goal, that first touch was he completely spun his defender around, and that's exactly what you want to do in a situation like that. And once he spun his defender completely around, then he had that one step ahead of him already. And so, Richards was trying to play catch up, and he almost made it, but he crossed it across his body to go to the other side of the goal. And I think at that point the goalie was like one step too far to the near post, right? If he had been one step further towards the away post, he would have been able to stop it. It was just out of his reach. So, but it was, I mean, I hand it to him. It was a great goal. I think we could have stopped it, but I think that first touch kind of sealed it as a really good goal for them.
It was an incredible first
Yeah, it
touch.
was a world class first touch.
We got caught out of position when we turned the ball over. We were like entering that final third of the attacking, and made a bad pass. Someone picked it off, and Morris was kind of Morris tried to be the hero. He came across, tried to intercept that pass. He wasn't in position to cover the guy, so I'm not blaming him for playing the ball instead. He was trying to cut it out, missed it, and then uh, that Inter Valencia, the attacker, the goal scorer for Ecuador, had split our defense. Richards was playing a little bit further back than the rest of the defenders, and fantastic quick through ball from whoever that got the assist. But it was that first touch because Richards was going one way, and Valencia let the ball come further behind Richards, and then that as Richards is turning around to face them, he cuts it behind him and did it and forced Richards into a 360. And that point, he was gone by a step. So I mean, he was behind a step and never really got it back. So I don't know how much we can blame the defense for just in general for being caught out of position and not having guys covered when we were entering the attacking phase. We just kind of got caught in a moment where we didn't have everything covered down. It was a quick through ball and a fantastic first touch, and we just kind of got picked apart there. And before and setting up nicely to talking about the goal that we scored is my man of the match. I thought Flo Balogun was absolutely fantastic in this from the very beginning. I probably would have said that even if he had not ended up scoring. I saw a lot of great combo play, even in the first half, even in those first 20 minutes. Those moments we had, we were getting great little moments between Tillman and Arfson and Balogun. And it seemed like he had multiple. He was running at the goal one-on-one with maybe one defender at his heels multiple times tonight. And I thought the team played well in order to get him into those spots, early passes, quick passes. And he had a lot of great looks at goal, had a lot of great shots. I love Balogun as our striker. And, you don't want to see somebody lose their job because of injury. When I'm thinking about Ricardo Pepi right now. And and I think that's true to a certain extent, but there are only so many matches left to be played. And if Pepi is not good to go. That's just how it is. He's not gonna he's not gonna he's not gonna make it this time. So we
Yeah, but
go ahead.
well, one thing. Well, Balogun, I mean, to kind of prove your point a little bit more, 20 matches, 7 goals for your United States men's national team. I mean that, and those aren't slouchy teams either.
Right.
Like one of these other people have scored on. So
And that's scoring at a clip that no other striker has for the U.S. in I don't know how long.
Exactly.
We've had a problem with getting goals from our number 9, from our striker position. And Balogun is, I think, in great form right now. So I really enjoyed seeing the strong performance from him. That's very encouraging. We need that. We need strong performance from strikers. I've been missing that. I want to talk about our goal. It was a case, I guess you can say, we were high pressing and we were able to turn it over in a good spot. I think really Ecuador just kind of made a bad play, and it kind of came to one of our guys. I believe it came to Weah. But what I loved about it was how quickly we all switched modes. We're on the attack, and it was just a quick boom, 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 quick 4 one-touch passes, and the ball was in the net. It went to Tessman first. Tessman was somebody I wasn't sure about coming into this game, but he was in the 18 box, and he played a perfect ball into Tillman, who saw Weah crashing the 6-yard box and was able to cross it and get it to him. No, it's not Weah. I'm sorry, Balogun. And Balogun scored. So great to see the goal for Balogun because he had such a great game and earned it.
Yeah, I think it was great too that when he went all the way down to the goal line, right, he pulled the goalie and the defender with him, and then he was able to shoot it across, and Balogun was able to shoot it in. So I think it was a team goal for sure, definitely.
Absolutely. And also by Tessman pinging the ball to Tillman first instead of trying to play Balogun right away.
Yep.
That also drew a defender across the box to Tillman, which created some space. I mean, there was a guy right on Balogun, but
that guy was on him all match too.
Right. But if that ball doesn't go to Tillman first and draw that additional defender over to him, then Balogun's completely covered up. He doesn't have a chance at all. So, and it all went very fast, and I love seeing that, just those quick, those quick passes like that. So, I think we dominated we dictated most of the game. We did not have the first 20 minutes, and we had one moment where they kind of caught us with our pants down, and Chris Richards got spun around. But I thought it was a strong performance. I was highly encouraged by it. What do you have any other closing thoughts, or do you have anything that you want to see out of the match against Australia on Tuesday to kind of give us kind of a complete look at the team right now?
I think the number one thing I want to be able to see is probably more creativity in the final third. They don't really seem to have a lot of those quick little passes, boom, boom, boom type things. You don't really see a lot of that recently, right? And so I think that's something that I would love to see as far as, in the next few matches. I want to be able to see that, because once you start seeing that, the chemistry is starting to come together. And I think that's going to be very important. If we want to go far in the World Cup, we got to have that. The final third is going to be very important. With Ecuador, it's a little bit different because they pretty much, they give you that high press, but they kind of sit back, right? And they let you have the ball, and then they pounce on certain occasions and things like that. Even tonight, we had like over 60% possession. But going against, they're no slouch. In World Cup qualifying, they only gave up 5 goals. So the fact that we could score 1, and we might have almost had a second, maybe a couple times, to me speaks volumes for our team as far as like going forward. And I just want to see, like I said earlier, the final third, being able to see those little passes back and forth. I think those are going to be key going forward towards the World Cup.
Very good. When I first saw the roster for tonight, the starting 11, I kind of freaked out because
I did
seeing
too.
Mac Marston once again on the pitch.
Yeah.
when you've got Jedi Robinson sitting on your bench, I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on? So, I had a little freak out there, but the reality is Jedi is still recovering from an injury. It's why he was not in the September camp, and they are just being very careful with managing his load. I think that he might not play Tuesday either. I imagine that Posh just wanted to get him in. They probably have very carefully negotiated agreement with the club that he's not going to do anything to set back his rehab. So I'm glad that Poch brought him in. It means he's not forgetting about him and not wanting to write him off. But I also just want him to get better. Hopefully we will see him play in November. He is our first choice at left fullback or left wing back, and we didn't get to see him tonight. Pulisic, I understand, must have picked up a knock during training or something. Didn't train on Friday. He just came in as a late sub. During the AMA a few weeks ago, I explained the substitution rule as being now in post-COVID, you get 5 subs in 3 substitution windows. That's true, except for in friendlies. In friendlies, you do get 6. So we did see all 6 come in this week. In case anybody's watching that and keeping track, wanting to bust me on it. Rules are a little bit different for friendlies. Okay, as far as me, I'll give you what I want to see Tuesday, and then we can get out of here. First, I want to see Matt Turner play. I want to see him get a shot. I do like sticking with the 3-back system. I want to see McKenzie play ahead of Miles. I want to give him that shot. And other than that, I mean, we settled into the match and we ended up looking really good. And I think I'd largely like to keep it the same way. I was second guessing whether we should have brought in Joe Scally because he's a right back that starts and contributes regularly in the Bundesliga. And we're just not going to call him in when the only right back we have plays for Orlando. That seems weird to me. But if we're playing Weah as a right wing back, it makes more sense. But again, there's a depth issue there, and I think I think it makes our 3-back formation very specific to the personnel. Like as soon as you make a substitution, you have to think about changing your shape. What happened tonight was we were dominating so much in the second half that our wingbacks weren't really having to drop back in defense very much. And so you ended up with Miles Robinson essentially playing at a fullback position, which is not what he usually does. And McKenzie just came in and subbed for him. McKenzie, I think, is also a center back. But, Freeman came in for him. Freeman came in for Miles, and Freeman is a fullback. So, but I think that's something that if we were on the ropes or if we were chasing the match, I don't think we could have that couldn't be a substitution that would have helped us. But anyway, that's really it. I want to see Turner and McKenzie. Everything else I think can stay the same. And I just want to see a consistent performance. I want to see a creative, but just motivated attack. I mean, how long did it seem like our team just didn't care at all? Yeah. So anyway, that's about all I got.
Yeah, they showed promise tonight, so that's good. And it seems like we took a step forward.
Yeah, I think so. I think between the Japan match and this Ecuador match, we have a lot to be encouraged by. And, of course, I love seeing all these European-based pros coming in. So, I mean, I got to feel like I got to believe that it's our guys playing overseas that are going to give us our best chance at success in the World Cup. I mean, otherwise we're saying that, like, MLS All-Stars can beat the world's best, can compete at the World Cup. And I don't know if there's anybody who really believes that. So I'm glad to see us get these European guys in, and hopefully, Jedi can get better and Des can get better, and we can start seeing the real team we want get some minutes together.
Yep.
All right. I think what I'm going to do, since we did this tonight, I want to I don't want to go live Tuesday at my regular time. The match against Australia will be going on at that time. So I think I'm going to do this again. You're welcome to join me again if you'd like to. Sure. I've enjoyed this, but I think we'll just wait until that final whistle Tuesday night, and we'll come on and we'll talk about our thoughts of the game and this camp. How's that sound to you?
Sounds great. Wonderful.
All right, man. Well, let's get out of here.
All right.
And, we do have a limited slate of matches this weekend. We have 5 MLS matches, as I guess we have 10 teams that have a game to make up. So watch some soccer with me. And I'll talk to you next time.